Hello, this is Dave. Welcome to Equity Story. I'm here with the Wolf. It's Monday, the 28th of the 11th month of the year 2022.
Thanks for that.
I know. I just thought we'd, let everyone know.
Well,
And
another week.
And it's just general share advice, as it is on every other day of the year.
Yes.
Now, Wolf. So we're going to talk about the markets, because the markets are having a good move, and you can see from the Dow. So I want to draw some trend lines here for you, right? And you see, you've had that little breakout here, right? Yeah. And you can maybe draw a trend line somewhere down here, right? Sorry, on that one, maybe around here, right? Roughly something like that. So it's been in a range. It's gone down a little bit. It's gone up a little bit. So what do markets like to do? You know what they like to do? They like to retest or go close to recent highs. The markets love to do that. So I'm sort of thinking, looking at the markets at the moment, there's a good chance we're going to go and retest somewhere just under that sort of 36,000, right? Because that's what markets like to do. And the big question will be, is it going to go over that, or is it going to go higher? And I should think my guess is, I think it's going to struggle in the environment we're in at the moment. It maybe goes sideways, right? But I think, and the same with the, if you look at the ASX 200, it looks very similar to Dow. We obviously do follow it largely, but I still think there's a good chance our market could be going a little bit higher over the next few weeks. The big question mark is, what do we do when we get here? And the psychology of the markets is that they'll want to try and give it a test. It's just it's like the nature of the markets. They'll try and give it a go, and you can see, they did it 2 or 3 times before. Whether it can really go higher than 7,500, we'll wait and see. But when you do get bullish, is if you get over 7,500 and you start really breaking out to the upside. Yeah, which could happen, because at the end of the day. So
never know.
Yeah, so what people might be looking at the moment is saying, if they're in a few trades, then possibly over next week. So certainly I think the next week, this week, I think the Dow should hold up, our market should hold up, and see where we are by the end of the week. And if we've had a really good move this week and we're getting closer to those all-time highs, then maybe that's the time where maybe some people might be looking to take a few chips off the table. Certainly those shorter term traders. Now let's have a look at some news today. So we had M70 that came out.
That was on Friday, by the way. So we're just catching up on some stuff that after our videos. That was a nice little update, Dave, from M70. It just shows that the company's still kicking goals, even though we've got caught up in that sell-off. Of course, I mean, everything did in that tech space, or most did, and I think it's still going fairly well, doing its thing, growing its revenues, growing its customer base. So I still got fairly bright hope for this, that it's going to do quite well over the longer period of time, right? So I'm still watching this with interest, because they are sort of got that familiar feel to it, to something like a PME in a very, very early days, Dave.
Right, and tell me, so okay, can I ask you a question? It's sort of, but it's broken up above the trend line last week. And I did look at this one. I didn't put it on Einstein's, simply because I just felt it needed to do more. But it's the first time now for over a year and a half it's actually broken trend. Would you buy this? Or would you want to see another quarter out of it?
I'll probably see another quarter out of it. And the thing is, if I had a big portfolio, I'd probably be looking at it. If I'm streamlined portfolio, maybe just not quite there yet. But there'll definitely come a time, I'd say, within the next maybe 12 months odd, that I might get very interested in this. Especially when they come up with a couple of really good quarters, right? When I can see that sustainability, that the earnings are going to grow, or at least the revenue is going to grow, and you're going to see that positive cash flows through for them. And you can see that path, right, where they're going to grow their revenues, be profitable, and that's where you get really excited about it. But it's just not quite there yet. I know they are, like I said, hitting some goals and doing this lonely little thing and winning customers and so on. So from that point of view, yeah, it's definitely keeping my interest. It's happening, but I just need to probably see a little bit more time, especially when the markets are still not quite rewarding all these tech companies at the moment. So there's, I think, time on your hands.
SNL. So this one wasn't, well, it's been on 9 cents for the last 2 weeks. Had that breakup 2 weeks ago, and then that's what we had last week. And surprise, surprise, like we say, the people in the know knew, and up she goes again.
Very good. All right, can you put out that announcement today, please? So I will go through it, and I'll refer back to the other one that they've come up with in August. So I'll give you a comparison of what's actually happening with SNL. It is definitely one of my favorite stocks because of the chart, Dave. Of course, you're going to love that. And of course, the story itself has been kicking goals. Okay, so you see what's happening here. Revenue growth of 22%. This is from last year, right? Or FY22. Earnings up 45%, dividends up 60%. So that was a great year. And that's why the share price has been doing quite well. So if you go down to further down, where are they at the moment within the first 4 months of the year? So just keep going a little bit further down. Okay, here we go. Trading momentum this financial year has remained strong. Assuming current trends continue, we expect revenue for the first half FY23 to be in the range of 116 to 118. Now, bearing in mind, they came out with a 198 million profits for the full year FY22, right? So that puts them, if they can maintain that rate, let's call it 230, right? Let's double that, 230 million revenues. That's going to give them what? About 15% growth, maybe, right? 12 to 15% growth in revenue wise. And then the profit after tax in the range of 12 to 12.5 million for the first half. Now, full year results last year was 20 million, right? For the full year. So again, they're on track to have a gain here. However, although we expect revenue growth to continue in the second half, which obviously we extrapolated, it's going to, let's go to 230. Higher costs from Truganina, DC and branch and expansion summit and preparations will reduce profit growth over the second half. So I'm thinking, okay, let's say they come up with a 10 to 11 million profit in the second half. That's still going to put them about 10% growth, 5 to 10% growth bottom line in FY20. That is still pretty good, Dave, considering they are expanding and spending money for growth. That is still very good. And you got to be happy with how the company's being managed here. So you got to really give kudos to the management. And this is probably one of the single reasons why you probably want to be in this company is the management, because you can see long-term, they've done an incredible job with SNL. So it's a hold for sure. And if you're knowing it, yeah, I'd say wait for it comes back to the trend lines and buy again. Good company.
So it's having this sort of little move, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it will come back. I think that move is probably just one or two buys because it's so lightly traded, but it will probably come back to the 12 and below, I'd say.
All right, but if you're in it, hold it. Now, IPG Group, Wolf, it's on a absolute tear, share price. Really tough to buy. You wouldn't be buying this off the day. You might be buying this really, to be honest with you, off the 5 minutes or maybe 60 minute. If you could, yeah, there you go. You buy off the 60 minute. That's, hold on a second. Oh, it's not far off. I quite like that price action on the 60 minute. So maybe going higher over the rest of the day. It looks pretty good. Now, but Wolf, tell me, IPG.
Bring out the announcement, please, Dave. So let's go through it again. And a company that's done incredibly well. I'm listed at $1, and it's about $3. So you have 200% already in less than 12 months. I mean, that's amazing performance. The growth has been quite strong, but has it run too hard, too fast? Is the question for me, right? 200%. Have they grown by 200% in revenues and profits? No, they haven't. So I think it's gone too hard, too fast for me. So I expect it to come back a bit. So it's trading now on 23 times. Go down to further down where it says, yep, further down. You can see the growth there, right? The actual growth now, it looks like it's going to be slowing. So keep going down. and they've got a slide in there that comes up with where are we now? Keep going down. Yeah, further down. There we go. Trading outlook. Okay, so they've come up with an a guiding range of 105 to 103. So 105 to 108. That puts them on about 20% growth roughly, with an EBIT about the same from what I can see here. I'd say if that's the growth that they're looking at, it's probably slightly below what they've come up with in a full year to 2022. So I think it's just gone too hard too fast, unless they're making acquisition or somewhere there where maybe they can give it a bit more oomph. I just want to wait for this to come back a bit. I think the chart is too vertical for me for the growth that they're receiving at the moment. I like the company, don't get me wrong. I like the company. I like what they're doing. They're in the EV space, which is pretty hot. that's why they've got a lot of they've got a lot of FOMO type activity going on in the share price, but it's just too hard, too fast. And there hasn't been any breather as yet that I can see, Dave. So I'm expecting that to happen. I can't see it going up vertically.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, Wolf, you've hit the nail on the head though. FOMO. Because it's a space that everyone sees the future on, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's why everyone's jumping in, and understandably so. But like I said, everything's got a price. Now it's trading, like I said, 23 times. I mean, what sort of multiples are you prepared to pay for this? And when I'm looking for growth and value, it's just starting to get out of hand a little bit, right? So I'm thinking,
but is it
it'd be better.
But Wolf, is it 23 times for possibly a business model which will have exponential growth? Is it that bad?
No, it isn't bad. It's not like a 50 times, 60 times some tech story. But then again, it's not a tech story. It doesn't have huge margins, Dave. That's what I'm trying to weigh up here, right? Am I going to be prepared to pay 30 times for this where the margins are like 10%? It's not brilliant. It's just got there's EV things that's going quite well for them. And so I'm not so sure I'd be prepared to pay that 23, 24, 25 times for this company.
With these electric chargers that you can obviously buy these and you set them up in your garage.
No, what they do here is they build the infrastructure for the car charging in around the city, around the businesses and so on. So this is they're like
a recurring revenue, is it, from each charger?
Possibly once they build it, they possibly could get some recurring revenues out of this. But they don't make their own products; they just source these products. It's like a third-party reseller almost, right? They use tritium charging stations. They use other parts, so they all just get all these parts, put it together, and build these stations. It's not as if they come up with these great ideas. They are just in a very interesting niche position where they can roll these things out using other people's products.
Even better.
Yeah, the risk, right?
Yeah, precisely.
Yes, but the thing is, I'm not gonna back this. This is actually I really like this company, but it's just starting to get out of hand, and you can see this chart is getting too vertical for me. So I just want to breathe out. I want to buy it around 250.
Okay. You've got ASG. Again, it's sort of not really performing, but a pretty decent target price of $3 from Macquarie. IEL, a story that you quite like, again, Wolf, but again, it's not really charting. This is and OCL, again, I think the target price around sort of $15. Who was that with, Macquarie or?
Morgans, OCL was Morgans, ASG was a Macquarie. And just, ASG trading on 7.5 with a 12% grossed up yield and price tag of 3. It makes sense from Macquarie. It
seems ridiculous. But the market, what you're saying, just sort of obviously discounting it, being worried about these types.
They're looking for future. They're thinking that it's obviously there's a recession coming. It's not going to be as good.
And they must probably right.
Possibly. But when are these brokers ever right?
Only we're the only one that's right, Wolf.
Exactly. We look charts. That's why.
Wolf, I want to go through quickly Einstein's, if you don't mind. Yeah.
No, go for it.
So some buy signals, LAU, which was arguably one of my favorite stocks last week. I think it looked absolutely superb. Cheap, great price action. Yeah.
Thumbs up.
One that was interesting was Rex. So you've seen like Qantas, yeah, do really well. And listen, I think it'd be better if it got over 140. I mean, there's strong buy signals, weak buy signals, but it had a buy signal, so we put it on. But I thought it was an interesting one just because of the nature of the business, Wolf, and you know.
They're in a sweet spot though. I mean, there's not a better time to be an airline versus right now, where you can just charge whatever you want.
And BKW, another sort of one of the better stories, that actually starting to go through that buy signal, which I thought was interesting because a few weeks ago you were being a little bit negative on this story, and
yeah, because it's in a space that really should suffer from with recession, right?
But what it's the market saying, well, a P of 4, this is already priced in.
Oh, this is the argument you're going to have. Absolutely. I mean, it's not expensive, is it? So theoretically, they've got much more value on the books than the market's giving credit to. Absolutely.
All right, I'm just going to go through a few more. West Farmers, which I liked, and hasn't quite gone on with it today, but I think it will. Interestingly, SUL. So I was interested, like retail company, and maybe Wolf, just maybe we're coming up to Christmas. A few of these stories could have a little bit of a bump, a bit of a Christmas rally. Interesting, PWR. So they are up today. The reason being, I know there's a lot of resistance at $3, but I think if it's not now, maybe next week it's going to break over that $3. So again, because I just feel it's done close to an exhaustion pattern sideways. So those exhaustion patterns either they have a change of direction. It's either going up stronger or down stronger, and I think there's a chance this could go higher. XRG, again, breaking out through those initial trends, and not look at SNL, which the news came out. JYC, which was again a dividend story, Wolf. They came back a dividend, and again, nice looking chart, but again, be wary, lightly traded. I still like ALO. I mean, I know I had it on the week before with that breakout, but I still think it looks superb. TWE, which we've talked about, we put on the trend. It's very slow, isn't it? But hopefully it can have a nice move this week. Metcash, again, good to see Metcash, I thought, jumping back over trend, right?
Great dividend story.
A good dividend story, and nice sort of risk reward on it as well. A2 Milk, interestingly, okay, I saw coal up over the weekend, 4%, and Whitehaven hits a trend line, bang, starts to pivot up. I think maybe back to $10 if coal can keep improving this week, Wolf. Your QBE, again, the breakout last week, I think there's a good chance that goes on with it as well. MGF, Magellan Global Fund, again, maybe doing better, a little bit better, breaking up over trend. So I you know what, good risk reward under 142 you're out. So from a trader, VUK, go the POMs, and I thought looked okay. Brambles I had to put on, maybe one of the better charts, but I'm not crazy about the company, but the chart was excellent, Wolf. I can't, Qantas, we talked about that, starting to go on with it a little bit better. So again, a nice little move up at the beginning of the week. COS, and I really would like to see this one break over 70, but come on, COS.
I'm getting there.
TLG, it's having a little breather so far, but that's normal. I think it may be an opportunity. It could go on with it. AGL, interestingly, so you're talking about Cannon Brooks. Can he fire the share price a little bit higher? At the moment, the price action is saying he might do, Wolf. So I quite like that.
The share price higher. Bye-bye. Oh, you're good, Dave. You're good. You're entertaining.
IPL. And then I thought IPL looked very good, by the way, as well. So right sector breakout. So there's a few ideas there to play with, Wolf. Not too bad.
Oh, plenty. And your hot stock, Dave. I mean, I think talking about charts and talking about stories that are cheap and value. Your CLX.
Well, you know what? The hot stock, generally speaking, picks itself, right? And again, I think everything what you said last week, you know, you put on, it was on Einstein's beginning last week. I had the news, you put on as a trade, but growth, inexpensive, reasonable dividend.
Yep.
Come on, $2.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
Yeah, you know,
Come on, it's not that far away.
Yeah, you feel sort of, you know, I mean, look how it moved before. It took 3 or 4 weeks before it got there. It might take 3 or 4 weeks, but again, I thought it was a good chart. And again, maybe I think apart from LAU, and I could put LAU because we had that as a stock, hot stock 3 weeks ago. Apart from ALU, I thought CLX was the most likely looking chart that could go higher.
Yep.
And listen, on that note, Wolf, we're done. So some ideas there. I don't think I need to put anything out officially as a trade just yet. But thank you for listening to Equity Story. Now, Wolf, I've got to say, I've had some amazing emails from Ask the Analyst Live. If you are a member of Equity Story and you're not using Ask the Analyst Live, I really scratch my head because it's a one chance that you can ask any question you want on any stock. It's absolutely invaluable. So please, guys, if you're serious about making money on the market, come on to Ask the Analyst Live, and you know, and hold us to task. Say, Dave, you like this stock? It's doing well, or it's not doing well. That's what we're there to do. It's all about working with you, and hopefully getting a much better outcome. On that note, Wolfie, thank you very much. And oh, by the way, congratulations, Poland.
Oh, finally, we won again. Yes.
Oh, it's not bad, Wolf.
Powerhouse like Saudi Arabia, Dave. I mean, amazing.
Oh, you know what? I was watching the Australia game with the boys, and when Australia scored, it was so funny.
Oh, it was a great game that was. I love that game.
Well, all the boys were jumping up on the, you know, Mum was screaming, "It's bedtime" to the little one, and there's no way he was going to go to bed till at the end of the game. He loved it. So no, good. So hopefully Australia can qualify in Poland. Wouldn't that be an interesting one?
Well, that'd be a turn up for the books. Imagine they playing against each other. Oh my, what am I gonna do?
All right. On that note, thanks, Wolfie. See you, mate.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.